and welcome to EBA Day 2025. We're here in Paris, and joining me in the studio away from the very busy event behind us is Phoebe Zhou, Head of Emerging Payments, Global Payments Solutions at HSBC. Phoebe, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Hannah, for the invitation. I'm delighted to be here, and particularly with the EBA Day. Today is the 20th anniversary, and let's celebrate.
Fantastic to have you here. Like you say, it's a very important EBA Day. A lot of discussions, which we can hear behind us, and a lot of discussion around the evolution of payments as well, which is really where I want to begin. Could you set the scene for us and tell us, how have you seen the evolution of payments and what has really stood out for you?
Absolutely. Like HSBC, we operate in more than 55 markets, and our USP is the global international connectivity, and that brings we to serve our clients, offer a best payment solutions, cross-border transactions as well. And through our observations and feedback we have with our clients, and they actually tell us the following trends really driving the future of payments. The number one is their expectations and the customers' behavior changes. And nowadays, customers looking for frictionless and simple, secure, cost-effective payment. Number two is that we have seen the digital transformation and technology enhancement. If we're looking back the centuries, like start with the Benton system, where we exchange goods and services through goods and services, and move on into like a metal exchange, as well as like precious gold and silver exchange. Then we move into like the paper notes and coin systems. And from 1600, we have seen the bill of exchange and the checks play a very important role in the global trade. Then moving to the 1950s, the cards become popular. The first payment, card payment is Diners Club, and then followed by MasterCard and Visa card and Amex, and move on from the 1970s. We have seen the ACH and wire payment for electronic payments come along, and 2000, where we've seen the mobile payments like QR code payments, super apps, Alipay, WeChat Pay, Google Pay, and Apple Pay come along, and then 2010, where the Bitcoin and the blockchain-related payments, smart contract and programmability has taken the space. Recently, generative AI has impacted on the payments a lot, and particularly we have seen that Internet of Things and connected payments are taking this stage. So that's kind of the number two. The trend. Number three trend, what we have seen is regulatory landscape changes. From the regulatory landscape, particularly in Europe, what we have seen is the instant payment regulation. This year, they set a lot of key milestone timeline for both to govern the push and pull payments. And we also seen the PSD2 moving to PSD3, where the open banking will really transition to open finance, with the data become more available for the consumers and TPPs. And number three, what we have seen the regulations is around like the MiCA regulation to govern and regulate the cryptocurrencies, including stable coins. Confirmation of payee and verification of payee are also very important, because those two combat the payment fraud activities. So it's really encouraging to see the regulations set the framework and clarifications to allow the banks like us to really work on the payment spaces. Lastly but not least, what we have also seen the trend is the sustainability goals and the ESGs, where the clients are actively looking to these spaces, and they tell us they are now rewarding their customers if they choose the ESG-friendly products through the loyalty programs. We also seen the issuers, particularly the card issuers, are now issue the cards which are made recycled materials from the traditional plastic materials.
Some significant developments and indeed trends there. Thank you, Phoebe, for bringing us up to date and giving us the history. And you touched on artificial intelligence, which is a really big one, certainly at EBA Day this year as well. Could you tell us, what are some of those tangible observations and developments you've seen from artificial intelligence?
Yeah, in particularly through the generative AI and the machine learning, we have seen, artificial intelligence has been utilized in the payment as well as the treasurers, including like the fraud detections, as well as the cash flow forecasting, and we have seen the insights provided through the AI very, very beneficial. Through that, we developed a product called FX Prompt. It offers our clients the best exchange and currency rates, which will give them the best option for them to secure the rates, and with 99.9 accuracy, and they can make the better business decisions from that. We have to bear in mind that artificial intelligence is just a tool for humans to make the best decision. We are still the decision maker, and AI is the enabler to help us to make a better decision.
It's such an interesting space and one that we can speak a lot more about, but I want to talk about some of those buzzwords that will be touched on over EBA Day, such as cryptocurrencies, stablecoins, tokenization, CBDCs, all of those. Those digital currencies, there's a lot out there, but how can we differentiate between them, and what are the implications for treasuries from these?
Absolutely. I think the easy way to differentiate them is by looking at whether those payments are regulated, protected. I mean, the consumer will get the protection if things goes wrong, and that's kind of the way when we look at it. With central bank digital currency, clearly it's governed and regulated by the central banks and the government, and the payments always protected and safe and resilient and compliant to use. HSBC is working with a number of central banks and looking into the central bank digital currency from both retail CBDC as well as wholesale CBDCs, with some examples like Project Agora, where we connected with 7 central banks as well as 43 commercial banks by looking to how we can support the cross-border transactions in better and cost-efficient and smooth way. Move up along from the central bank digital currency into a tokenized deposit, where it is a digital representation of the commercial bank money. It will contain the DLT related key features, including programmability, smart contract. It will set the condition. Once the conditions met, the payment will be automatically settled and executed. And this is the first time that we are seeing the payment settlement status as well as the messaging services being connecting into one using the programmable money feature. So the tokenized deposit, again, it is, like I said, is regulated, is protected, and it's governed through the commercial banks that their risk appetite. So move along into the crypto world. There are a number of different crypto payments, and the most important one is, like we have noticed, is the stable coin, and there are multiple regulations currently are looking to get the clarification about stablecoin, but we have to be aware that at the moment it is still not regulated in in UK, for example. But we have seen some of the regulations become like clearer in the markets like the Europe, where the MiCA regulations really set the scenes for stablecoin and provide a robust clarifications about lessening, about reserve to provisions for the stablecoin. Last but not least is the cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and Ethereum. And again, we haven't seen that has been massively adopted as a payment method. However, it's for speculations purposes that we have seen that the values for those currencies can go up and down very dramatically. So we have to highlight those risks to our treasurers as well. So why treasurers, this is important to them, is because that treasurer needs to understand different type of payments. Then they can be notified that the cost involved to set those payments up, and also they need to understand the liquidity provisions for those payments, because not all the payments will be settled at the same time, and what liquidity provisions are important. Then lastly, I think the compliance rules, AML checks and KYC checks and the regulations, and how to be more sustainable, compliant and robust way to be able to notice those payments are the key as well. So we watch the space, we continue involved together with our treasurers.
Yes, you've done a very good job of highlighting both the challenges and opportunities around that, and it has been really interesting watching the evolution of regulation alongside those digital currencies. And now one area I want to touch on also is blockchain. I want to hear about what HSBC is doing in this space to help and support clients with their payments. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Absolutely. That we have noticed that the treasurers has telling us their pain points, like they mentioned about they want the pain points to be seamlessly, frictionlessly, as well as to be able to settle 24/7, and they want to have like improve the working capital efficiencies. So therefore, we work closely with our clients. We developed like the DLT blockchain related payments. Last week, we announced that our own tokenized deposit platform become available in Hong Kong, and this is the first time that we are able to offer our using our own technology infrastructure to upgrade the commercial bank money into a tokenized deposit format to really realize those potentials, as I mentioned before, like the programmability and the smart contract and conditioned payment to achieve the automatic settlement. And we will be looking to expand into multiple other markets within the HSBC network to really benefit corporate clients, and we both together to improve the cross-border transactions in the new era of the future of payments.
Phoebe, thank you so much for sharing your insights. I'll let you get back to the busy event, but watch this space, it's safe to say. Thank you.
Thank you.